Welcome to Faces of Parkinson's. I'm Robert Cochrane, and I'm very excited today to be joined by my friend Nan Little. Nan, how are you?
I'm just doing real well, Robert.
Nan is the author of If I Could Climb Mount Kilimanjaro, How Come I Can't Brush My Teeth? And you have a number of great stories regarding Parkinson's. You have been diagnosed since 2008, is that correct?
Exactly.
And, you know, I know, and we're going to share some of your larger talking points with people, but how are you today, 10 years into your diagnosis?
Pretty remarkable. I should be a lot further down the road of progression of Parkinson's symptoms, but I'm not. And I attribute that to cycling, a lot of work with the YMCA, frankly, and perseverance, tenacity, certainly the support of my husband.
One of the things you said in your speech that I thought was funny was how you never thought of yourself as an athlete, a woman who has climbed these mountains, who has ridden RAGBRAI and all these things. Do you now still not think of yourself as an athlete?
Well, yeah, I guess I don't really think of myself as an athlete, but we've taken this business with Parkinson's as an opportunity to say, well, what can we do in life? How much time do we have left? What are we going to do? And so we've set some challenges for ourselves.
Are you encouraged at this point by what you've done? You sounded like you said, I'm doing pretty great. I mean, are you encouraged by what you've learned through pedaling for Parkinson's and the exercise and everything you've done?
Oh, absolutely. I learned that if I pedaled at an RPM of 80 to 90 for an hour 3 times a week, I could reduce my symptoms by 35%. And all of a sudden that gave me some control over what was going on with my body, and that was what I needed.
I was going to say, control is the main issue when you feel out of control based on this internal invader, this disease, this chronic illness, right?
Right, and the doctors are telling you to take this medicine or that medicine and do this or that, and you just are at the mercy of the whims of the medicine and the doctor. You don't have self-efficacy, and that's what you want. So by giving me this opportunity to cycle and then to climb and do these other things, I got my life back.
How did you meet Dr. Jay Alberts? I heard the story, but I want you to share it with everybody. How did you get to know him?
Well, a friend of ours was watching the NBC Nightly News in 2008 and saw this clip about this guy at the Cleveland Clinic, Jay Alberts, who had ridden a bicycle and realized there was a connection between cycling and reducing your Parkinson's symptoms. So this friend sent the clip to us, and I saw it and immediately called the Cleveland Clinic. And I was amazed because Jay answered the phone. The doctors don't answer the phone, their own phone. He did. We talked for a while, and he invited us to ride across Iowa in RAGBRAI.
And why not? I mean, just of course you're going to ride across Iowa. You've never been a cyclist before, but sure, right?
Well, right. And the other thing was I could turn my head only about this far. My arm was stuck at my side. My hand was all clenched in a fist. I was shuffling. The idea that I could walk 100 yards, much less ride my bike 450 miles, was ludicrous. So I just said, well, I said yes, we would ride across Iowa, and then I hung up the phone and thought, oh my God, what have I said? So I really got to practice much harder than 3 hours a week, and I took off and practiced 4 to 6 days a week, going 1.5 hours to 4 hours each time, so way above the protocols. And a month later, I was walking my dogs, and I looked down, and both arms were swinging freely. I could turn my neck completely, my head rotated. I just stood there and cried.
That's awesome. And like you said, 35% almost probably feels like almost an undershot based on what you got back.
Well, I went to see my doctor the week after this happened with the walking the dogs, and he said if I didn't know you had Parkinson's, I wouldn't diagnose it.
There's a beautiful moment in your presentation where you're skiing down a hill, and your husband Doug was able to capture it. It was when you were 70 years old, I believe.
And she comes. 70-year-old woman with Parkinson's. Keep going. Keep going.
It's almost like the Dory from, Finding Dory or Finding Nemo movies. Just keep swimming.
Right, just keep going. If you set intermediate goals, short-term goals, you can reach those goals. If you say, I'm going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, that's way too daunting, and it's unrealistic, and it's unnecessary. You can just set goals that are relevant to you and meet them.
And it happens by, like you say, being active, being social, reaching out for help.
Exactly.
Last thing I want to touch on, that idea of the importance of reaching out to other people. It's one of my main things I know I've learned from my dad. When he's doing his worst is when he is inward and staying at home watching TV alone. Not to demonize that activity, but when he doesn't reach out, talk to me about the importance of socialization, of reaching out to others, and being part of the community.
When you have Parkinson's, you speak a little more slowly than other people. It takes you a moment to react to questions. And if you're talking in a group of people, then you're unlikely to join the conversation because people have moved on by the time you're ready to articulate yourself. So you step back, you don't join in the conversation. Pretty soon you decide, well, why should I even go to that gathering because I'm not going to be interacting with people. And you just retreat and retreat and retreat. If you can help other people understand that if they give you a minute or a few seconds even, you'll be part of the conversation, that they can be very much a part of your socialization. That is really helpful, and that brings you out instead of in.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Nan, for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Reverend.
All right. For Faces of Parkinson's, I'm Robert Cochrane. This is Nan Little. We'll be talking more, I'm pretty sure. Until next time.